Hey, everybody, welcome. Here it is, the podcast version of Matt Connarton Unleashed. And it is, November 11th, 2025. I'm used to doing this on Saturday morning, but we do occasionally do the podcast version when we have something special. And of course, if you are streaming the show live, also, I should say happy Veterans Day. My father is a veteran, so I don't want to forget that. And of course, thank you to everyone who has served our country. And Veterans Day, very, very important. And we have joining us today, right now, it is a little bit before 6 p.m. in the Eastern time zone, and Eddie Singh is with us live on the podcast. Hello, Eddie.
Hi, how you doing, Matt?
Very well. I'm excited to talk to you. As you know, we talked the other day, and I was dying to have you on the show because, well, we should start. I guess we should start with what you're doing currently, right? And maybe we can kind of work our way backwards a little bit. But you've got this great new release. And let me get this. This picture is so cool too. This album artwork, of course, it's American Split, but it's actually American Split AI is officially the name of the album, right?
Correct. Because I had an original album 2 years ago that was released on January 6th, 2023, with intention for the date, symbolic intention. And I've remade the album using AI tools. And I'm really pleased with the results, and it's really helped my vision come alive for all the songs.
So part of what is so interesting about this, well, there's many things that are interesting to me about it, but and the album is great. So the original album is great, and you can hear it on the website. Excuse me, but the AI version is even better, and to me, it was kind of interesting to sort of compare and contrast the two, because I actually heard the new version first, because you had sent me the entire album, the AI version. And then I went back to the website, and it was, for me, hearing the AI version first, it was almost like the original version. It's almost like hearing the demos of what the final product is. But I like so the original versions obviously are a bit more raw in that sense, but I like them both. But one of the things that we discuss a lot on the program is AI and its impact on AI in all sorts of creative arts, but especially in music. It's really interesting to me, and to our audience, and a lot of our audience is people in the industry too. So it's something that directly affects everyone. Absolutely. But the things that you can do, and what you've done, and we should be very clear about this for our audience too. It's not like, you didn't just put a bunch of prompts in to Suno or something and create these songs. You made the songs first, but then you used AI to kind of change and enhance them. And I'm curious to know more about that process.
It was the highlight of my life, making American Split AI, but taking so many of my old songs that were just me and a guitar or me and a piano that I literally recorded on my phone, and then use the tools. I did use Suno, so I'd feed in the lyrics. And then they have adjusters so you can make it sound more like you or less like you.
Yeah.
But mostly you have to type in precisely what you want. So whenever I write a song, I always hear the full version in my head.
Yeah.
And this was just really just luxury that I now can, have the ability to say, all right, I want a little extra percussion here. I want a walking bass line here. I want a female singer to do harmony on a specific section. And that's what I did with American Split AI. I fed the original album in, went song by song, and spent hours and hours. I mean, it wasn't like, I just pressed a button.
Yeah.
You can do that with Suno, and it's a great tool for that. But I really think they now have a production studio where you can manipulate all the stems and, really get to work at it. So I use that as well. And I was just really pleased with, and I recognize that, AI is like, it's kind of like the boogeyman for musicians and for performers now. And with good reason. I'm very into AI. I'm getting a phone call. Very into AI in general. And the whole Eddie Singh grew out of an AI concept. He grew out of this game called Scaped Infremted, where Eddie Singh comes back from the future, as you can see from the picture,
Hmm.
to save humanity from the Raybot spiders, who are an AI platform that is rewriting the internet. And this was, again, I mean, the album was a long time in the making. It came out in 2003, but I've been working on it for years.
Hmm.
And so to actually see, like, have the AI catch up to the storyline, it just seems like the perfect time to utilize those tools. The Raybat spiders are basically changing the internet and giving machines and bots credit for where humans used to have it. Like, that's the storyline.
That's interesting. Kind of changing history in a sense.
Right.
Um, I'm fascinated too by, and I think I said this to you on the phone too. It's prophetic, right? Because this originally 2003 is when you came up with this concept, right?
Yeah, oh, it was back in the day. The truth is, Eddie Singh is the mastermind. My real name is Brian Mannix, and I used to be a teacher, and I developed this game called Skabd and Fremted, which means create your future in Danish. And
Yeah.
it was an alternate reality game for education, and it was played in like over 140 countries around the world. And I got some awards for some of the stuff I did with that. And it was really attached to like social studies and having the students go and check primary sources. So I like altered a bunch of sites and put up some fake stuff, and then we have clues. And hopefully in a couple of weeks this is all going to be digital, because the first album had the cover of it was the board game, and that led you into the ARG. And now it's just going to be like Shazamming the songs and
Yeah.
getting clues and challenges and stuff.
Oh, that's really cool. So there's this sort of Eddie Singh universe. It's like it's pretty amazing.
It has, because I made a video called "The Story of Eddie Singh"
Yeah.
probably about 10 years ago, and it feels like most of the weird thing. My brother said, "My God, it's so odd." He didn't understand it all, and now I feel like with the internet being half AI now,
Hmm.
like it came true almost. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And tell us about Eddie Singh. Tell us about the character of Eddie Singh, because as you mentioned, you did reveal your true identity. Uh,
Right.
but who is Eddie Singh?
Eddie Singh is the character that I was able to create and step into. Eddie
Okay.
Singh is a lefty. I learned to play pool lefty,
Yeah.
which was helpful, and a little bit of hustling once in a while.
Yeah.
But I really adopted this personality and stepped into it, somewhat to take away my nerves and to just be like a Ziggy Stardust kind of character.
Yeah.
I mean, Bono's done it, Lady Gaga's done it, and I wanted to create this persona who's the leader of the resistance against the corruption, is what we called it in the game, by the Raybot spiders. And the whole idea is that I lead, and with the game on the album, it's fun stuff. I mean, it's a lot of it's serious stuff, but a lot of it is just fun stuff, where you get to share, with someone that you love, a video on TikTok, or you need to tell someone that you had an argument, that you're sorry, or whatever it may be. There's literally, like, I think it's like 600 different options within the album once the scanner thing is up and running.
Oh, wow. We should mention too, you just got a really great article review in indieboulevard.com, titled "The Groundbreaking AI Remake of the Debut Album American Split by Eddie Singh in the 31 Days Changes the Game's Rules." And when I put this up on YouTube after, I'll drop a link to this article in there in the description. But really, really good. And I mean, how do you feel? Like, do you feel like a trailblazer? Do you feel like you're like or the word groundbreaking, that's a lot to live up to, right? But you are the first person I've encountered in the industry who has really done something this interesting and this sort of complex.
Well, I appreciate that. I don't know if I'm the first, but I do think outside of the box. I've always been a creative thinker and someone that isn't good with structures imposed on me. As a teacher, I literally abolished grades at the school I was at after like a 3-year process of doing the research and everything.
Huh.
and I wrote narratives for the students and focused on their skills and really, I had like a 1-page thing that I would give to all the students, getting so that they'd get to know, the parents would get to know exactly what it meant to get like a 77, and so we abolished it. But with Eddie Singh, yeah, I feel like it is a little cutting edge. I mean, the Indie Boulevard article was overwhelming, to be
Mm,
honest, to read. There were so many quotes in there where I was like, wow, this is, I was humbled.
yeah.
And I'm excited. Yeah, I think it is a new frontier. I think AI is a tool, and it depends how you use it.
Hmm.
Just like anything else, just like any DAW system, any vocal effects, any click track timer. I mean, these are automated things that gradually, one by one, were not accepted by the industry. I think Boston made their album without a click track because they were so opposed to it.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that's the case. And I think, little by little, it does get accepted. I mean, this to me is just another huge Suno and other apps like it. It's just a huge creative well that people can gather and use to really make whatever they hear in their head, which I think is a great service to musicians.
I agree. Do you think that, kind of looking at it from the other side, do you think there's any danger in it? Like, do you think as a creative person, do you feel threatened in any way, like that you can? So, for example, because you talked about Suno, I've experienced with Suno also. I've just, but not doing anything like what you've done, but just putting in prompts and telling it, make a song about this, about these concepts in this style, and then just seeing what it comes up with. And I've been pretty impressed with what it
It's
comes up
amazing.
with. I
It's
mean,
truly amazing. I mean, I made, for each song on the album, I probably made 40 songs and described it in different ways until I got
yeah.
it just right. But you can make them quickly if you want, and they all sound good. I mean, they really, the AI does a great job. Again, mine was a little different because it had my audio as a basis, so I
Mhm.
haven't really used it for anything but that. But I
Yeah.
know even if you don't have a song, if you're just a poet, you could certainly put the AI to music. But yeah, I think it's something that's here to stay. I don't think it's going to be going away.
No.
But I think it is somewhat of a threat. I mean, it depends if it's like anything else. If it's ethically used,
Mhm.
if it's used the right way, I think it could be a really productive tool.
Exactly. As you were going through this process, using, Suno to enhance these songs, um, did any of them really, like, how surprised were you? Like, did you know going into this, going through this process, were you expecting them to come out as good as they did, or were you kind
Yeah,
of shocked?
I was amazed. I was
Yeah.
amazed. I mean, I was literally the first time I did it, I was just like, "Oh my god." I couldn't believe the sound.
Yeah.
And again, depending on how you set it up, because there are a lot of different, sliders and different ways to make each song. You can really have, you can change the song entirely if you
Mhm.
want, or you can keep it almost exactly the same. There's a few of the songs, and again, it's all AI. The American Split AI is all AI. My own mother doesn't believe me. Yeah, there's a few songs that they sound so much like me
Yeah.
that I get confused. I'm like, is this me singing?
Right.
It really was spot on. And then I was able to use for some of the songs where I wanted a different type of voice, like Stand Up being one of them. I absolutely love the voice that I created using
Mhm.
Suno, and I just think it has this cool vibe, and it really adds to the song.
Um, so speaking of the songs, so when people listen to the entire album, one thing, well, I mean, you notice it immediately. You notice it by the second song, actually, that you've got a lot of different genres, sort of in subgenres covered here, right? Because the opening track. So when I sat down to listen to it for the first time, I was surprised because the opening track, "Some Justice Opportunity," I was like, "Oh, it's hip hop." I didn't expect this, and then, but really, really good.
Thank you.
Like, really good, and then it gets to the second song, and it's like, oh, this is a change up. And then I wonder if this is the style that the rest of the album is going to be, and then it gets to the next song, and and you've got a variety of genres represented here, but they're all really well done, and the album as a whole, it works. It's not,
Thank you.
because when you do something like that, it could there's a risk to that. It could seem disjointed. It could seem kind of like it's all over the place, or it can all work together. And this album, it all works together. Maybe because there's kind of a common theme behind it. I'm not sure, but it works. It's really effective, and it's if you listen to the whole thing, and I encourage people to do that, it kind of really makes a statement, and it makes you think too. The lyrics make you think.
I appreciate that. Yeah, Some Justice Opportunity came about years ago when Michael Brown was killed in
Mm-hmm.
Ferguson, Missouri.
Yep.
I saw the two news coverages on MSNBC. They were saying there were protesters in the street, and Fox said there was rioters in the street.
Of
And
course.
I had been taking a sabbatical to work on a company that I created called Babysitting Barter. This was before care.com. And I immediately said, I was off, and I was expecting to go back to teaching the year after if the babysitting bar didn't work out. And I just thought, I have to go there. This is my America. That's one of the songs. Is this our America?
Yeah.
And so I went there, and I was there when the riots were taking place, and I interviewed all kinds of people. So the first version has audio clips of all different people I interviewed, and then the speech at the end, which is on well, everything's on the new one, but
Mm-hmm.
the speech at the end was with two guys that I was talking with when we were standing next to the riot police, and they were shooting tear gas with tanks, and I was like right on the front lines. And it's a lot of it deals with America's issues,
Mm-hmm.
with racism and just with our political divide, not dealing and not helping, not being fair, and being somewhat racist and sexist and homophobic. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of the trifecta. And I feel like we're at a real, turning point for America right now. And I hope that this kind of talks about the landscape. Is this our America? Stand Up, I wrote the day that Roe versus Wade was overturned.
Mm-hmm.
And I just couldn't believe that, mostly that someone that was raped or a victim of incest would be forced to have a child.
Yeah.
And that's what that song is about, that we got to stand up against that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And Stand Up is really like kind of a rallying cry that I think that I would love for like Move On to just take it, or Planned Parenthood to go ahead and use the song for their rallies or for the movement.
Maybe there's an opportunity there, but yeah, it's very, very powerful. Yeah, Stand Up, that's another very powerful song. Is This Our America is great. That, of course, the first single that's going to radio.
That's
So
right.
very, very excited
Yes,
about that.
you
Very
had the world premiere on Saturday. I was very excited.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very
Absolutely.
excited.
Um, can we talk to a little bit, just kind of shift gears a little too, because I want to know about your radio background. When we talked on the phone the other day, you're a radio guy too.
Yeah, absolutely. I used to work for WLIR and WGRE and Party 105 on Long Island back when I was out of college. And during my band days, my first band days when I was about 20 years younger, and I ended up I was an account executive working at the radio station, but then I started and hosted Tri-State Sound, which was a local show, which was one of the best experiences of my life. I mean, and we spoke about this, how much fun it is to listen to new music and be able to
Yep.
pitch it to radio stations and stuff. I
Yep.
got to listen to the greatest talent. We had bands like Ryan Starr, the Montgomery Cliffs, Early Edison, people that really went on to fame afterwards. But they were local acts then, and I had a lot of live performances. I did that for about 3 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Why did you leave it behind? I mean, I know there's not a lot of money in it at
It,
times, and
it wasn't that. I went back to teaching. I left the job, and
yeah.
not back to teaching. I went into teaching.
Okay.
I got married. I had a few children, and I thought that, and I love history. I love social studies. My sixth great grandfather was Richard Henry Lee, who proposed the Declaration of Independence, and that's something that I
Wow.
always kind of like wear around me and feel like, this is my country, and I want to make it good for everyone. And
Yep.
that I'm
Yep.
sure subconsciously that's one of the reasons I flew to Ferguson. I went to Charleston when the massacre happened, and I was just blown away by the contrast between how Ferguson handled
Hmm.
the riots and the killing of Michael Brown versus what happened with the Charleston Nine, which were two vastly different reactions. In Charleston, they were holding hands across a bridge,
Yep.
and it was beautiful. In Ferguson, not so much.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Um, Now, do you have plans for more music beyond this? I mean, obviously you're focused on the current project, but I'm always curious because you're a creative guy, so I'm sure you've got more ideas beyond, or maybe more ideas that are connected to this, because obviously it's not just the music. It's there's a game, there's everything, right?
Yeah, no, I definitely want to continue with it. I frankly have already redone Election Day, which was the album that followed American Split, the original, and I've redone it with AI. But I have another album called Sex and Politics, which I think it has 9 songs on it right now. That I also use the AI, again, using the seeds of my piano playing or whatever, my poor production. Just basically doing it on the iPhone on a lot of the tracks. Some of them were recorded in legit studios, and I've had a great mentor in Richie Canada, who has given me more than he ever should have, I'm sure, in terms of his time and his guidance. He's the sax player for Billy Joel for like his first 5 or 6 albums, and he has a recording studio where he launched like Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston, and he
Oh,
was
wow.
yeah he was very big influence in the actual finished product of the original American Split. He played
Okay.
on 2 of the tracks.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. Very good. Very good. And then do you do anything musically? Do you do anything outside of Eddie Sing, or is it all about Eddie Sing and the
It's all about Eddie Singh. Yeah,
yeah.
it's the persona. I think I'll probably at some point go back to Brian Mannix, probably to make my mom happy. She's
Oh, really? Yeah.
can't stand calling me Eddie, and
Oh, that's
it's
funny.
yeah, it's kind of a thing. But
That's
yeah, I think eventually I'll go back to Brian Mannix. I had previously released the Mannix Project, and years ago I was in a
oh,
band called 42 Wet Men, which is the first. Well, I was in a band in college too, but the first like real band outside of college was this band called 42 Wet Men, and we got a radio play, and we had my partner, one of my good friends, a soulmate. He was a piano player on Broadway, and he was like the orchestrator of the band. And we were like, it was like right as we were about to get signed, the band like blew up and we broke up.
oh
And then
no.
yeah, it was like it was sad. And then in one of my big moments when I opened for Cake at the Vanderbilt in Long Island, and I got offered a record deal back in the day, and I turned it down like maybe a fool.
No kidding.
Um, yeah, because I wanted more control over the publishing and everything.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you never know too. I mean, a record deal isn't always I mean, they might pour a lot of money into the project once they sign you, and you might end up being a big star, or you might. There's a lot of horror stories too.
Right.
You go and record a record, and then the record company shelves it for whatever reason, and you don't even own your masters, and they keep everything, and
That was part of the deal. It was kind of like they were just buying my finished product.
yeah.
That album I made with Mike Sapone, who I think he's won a Grammy. He produced
Oh, wow.
brand new. Is that it? Is that it?
Okay, brand new. Yeah.
Yeah, he produced a lot of their stuff.
Oh, okay, great.
He's incredible.
Yeah, yeah, wow. And are you still in so you're in New York?
I'm in Brooklyn. I'm in
Brooklyn?
Crown Heights, and
Yeah.
I am doing a little bit of AI educational consulting as well.
Really?
Yeah,
Interesting. Okay,
yeah,
okay. So you're really invested in AI. That's good.
absolutely. Yeah.
That's good, yeah. Well, eventually, we're all gonna have to be.
Pretty much. I mean, I look at it as we have a whole bunch of Einsteins in the room that we can utilize for
Mhm,
just about any project or just about anything, any question, any real world, science thing you want to know, or
mhm.
even interpersonal stuff that, most people be like, you're telling that to a bot. But, when they're that smart, even though it's just one character at a time, or, it's just a
Mhm.
stochastic parrot or whatever people want to call it, it works for me.
It's also been with us too for longer than people realize because, what I tell everyone is if you've ever gone on to if you've ever talked to a chatbot on a website for customer service, I mean,
Right,
you're literally talking to a bot. That's not a real person on the other end. That's
right,
why sometimes it's so hard to get anywhere, you
right,
know,
exactly.
but that'll improve too. But no, I love AI. There's so much you can do with it, and the number one thing that I use it for is coding, because I also build websites.
Really,
But yeah, but I don't code at all anymore, like ever. I literally, I tell AI, there's a couple different ones I use, what I need, and it builds it for me, and then I put it into
the
I might
entire
have to
book.
I might have to tweak it, but I don't write code anymore.
Right, right. It's amazing.
No
No,
reason to.
yeah,
No reason
it's
to.
really amazing.
So, is there anything else you want to tell us about in terms of the game? Because again, with Eddie Singh, there's the game and everything. Like, what I want to make sure people know about that, and then we'll remind people too about they're going to be hearing the single on the radio soon. But any other part of this that we didn't touch on that you want to make sure people know about?
Well, in hopefully a week's time or less, the app will be up and running
Okay.
on my website or on a separate domain name. It'll probably be a web app, and basically you can listen to the album and sort of Shazam it,
Mm,
and listen whatever part you're on, depending on the song and the minute that you record. It'll give you a choice of options. It's like no, I always forget this. It's like no, action, share, or alternative. And then within that, once you pick one of those, like no is like trivia questions and stuff like that. Action is asking someone to share something on social media. What was the other one? Alternative is just kind of a potpourri of things. And what was it? No, action. I'm forgetting the other one, but then there's subcategories of what the album is all about. Love and sex, which please you and come on, certainly represent that, and the
mhm,
love of Mineola screaming your name in the night. And then there's subcategories: so love and sex, racism, sexism, homophobia, and technology. And then you get to share and earn points within that ecosystem, and really be like interacting with the music in a way that previous to the technology now, it's so advanced. And again, I've been kind of waiting for this. I mean, I had this idea a long time ago, but I wasn't able with my skills then to create a Shazam. But now, like you said, not having to code, I mean, I can build it, and I was able to build it. It's working perfectly in the development
wow.
environment. I just have to push it up live.
Fantastic. Well,
Yeah,
congratulations
I'm
on that.
excited.
That's exciting.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Really looking forward to that. And of course, Is This Our America? I have the title right, right? Is This Our America?
Is This Our America? Yeah, it
Okay.
was called This My America,
Right, right. Yeah.
and I changed it because it's really our America. It's not mine.
Yeah, yeah. Excellent. And so that's going out that's well starting now really. It's going out to college radio and people will be able to hear that soon and hopefully too they'll get into the game and all of it. But we'll make sure people know about it. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
Great stuff, and I encourage people to check out the album too, and of course, if you go to eddiesing.com, you can find, well, the original is there too.
I don't know if the original is still on. I think I might have just
Oh,
replaced it with the updated version, but you can
oh,
certainly
gotcha.
you can certainly learn everything you wanted to know about me or the band.
Yeah.
My electronic press kit is a little too long. It's a Prezi where you can go in and see who
Yeah.
I am and my background, my life, and then each of the albums you can go and see the lyrics and who produced it and everything.
And I got to watch, looking at the website too, that reminds me, I got to watch that. I haven't watched the video yet, but I'm going to. The story of Eddie Singh. I need to check that out.
Yeah, that was years ago, and the first one I made, and it was kind of a just I had this experience where I was typing and I was writing like just a creative writing session, and I wrote about this translucent girl, and then I went to stop writing, and I got Haagen-Dazs out of my fridge or freezer, and they had a QR code, which at that point I'd probably never scanned a QR code of someone else's,
Yeah.
and I scanned it, and you downloaded an app. It was called the Concerto app, and out grew a 3D image, a hologram, like Princess Leia and Batman and Star Wars, playing the violin. And it was like the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen in my life. And I was like, whoa. And then I sat back down at the computer and I was like, I wrote about a translucent girl in the computer before I saw this thing. And I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, am I seeing the future here? I'm like,
Wow.
am I predicting this? It was it still haunts me. I don't know what exactly, who threw that seed into my subconscious, and
Yeah. Yeah.
preview. But that was kind of how that thing started. And I believe that's in the story of Eddie Singh.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I got to watch that tonight. I'm going to watch that tonight. Definitely. Definitely.
Awesome.
Very good. Well, again, everybody check out eddiesing.com and keep your eyes, or keep your ears open, I should say, for the first single hitting radio very, very shortly. Eddie Singh, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much.
Peace, Matt. Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you to everyone who joined us for the live stream. And of course, everyone else. I know a lot more people are going to get this in the podcast feed. Make sure you subscribe to Matt Connarton Unleashed in the podcast feed of your choice. And you can always find it at my website, mattconnarton.com. And that is going to do it for us for now. Eddie Singh, again, thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You got it.